Hey everybody, welcome to the last dojo of the Photoshop and Illustrator Unleashed course. My name is Ivan Whittelborg, and I'm excited to jump into the Eye of the Tiger exercise. So excited for all of you that have made it this far. I know some of you may be a little bit behind, and that's okay. You still have access to the course after today. So just keep on moving, keep finishing that exercise, and put in that time and the good work. First up is Jay, and Jay has a good set of complete boards here for the Eye of the Tiger exercise, and we're just going to go through frame by frame and just see what's good. So I'm just going to quickly click through all of these frames, and Jay has some awesome texture in each one of these frames, a very kind of paper-like feel to the background textures and what's overlaid on top of the imagery and all of that. And I just got to say, Jay, awesome job. I love the attention to detail with all of your cutouts. I mean, everything looks really spot on. I mean, even down to the hair on this bear. The shadows that you added for some of these boards is really nice. It's very subtle, not over the top. Really gives this piece a little bit of depth, which is really nice. And you did a really great job on the color correction. You're really sticking to that brand look of kind of the grungy, kind of overexposed, high contrast type of feel, a little bit old vintage feel. And I think you really nailed it with a lot of these. And again, awesome color correction, awesome job on cutting out all of the assets. Really great job. I especially love what you created here with these pieces of fire that just really fits in with the overall feel and look of everything else. I think you did an awesome job. I do wish, I see that you kind of duplicated the same asset again and again and again. I do wish maybe you created one or two different variations so that it wasn't as easy to tell that these have all been copy and pasted. And this one in the back kind of looks a little squished. I think just the scaling of that one just made it look a little squished. So really great here, but I think if you were to just improve it a little bit, I think definitely creating another variation would help a ton. An awesome final frame. I love that you took the extra step to change the texture between these two to show that feeling of maybe motion, that it's not too static between this and this. Awesome job. I love the little accent lines that are drawn on, the leaves that you've added in here. Jay, you've done an awesome job. It was such a joy seeing you work through the course with all of the different assignments. Excited to see what you do next outside of this course. Great job, Jay. Next up is Nicole, and we're just going to run through her boards real quick. She's got a good bit of just very subtle texture in the background, which I like. Great job cutting out all of the assets. Yeah, so to start off, one thing I really love is the amount of detail that's maintained in this rope, that we're really able to see all of the interweavings of the rope. It's not overexposed, it's not too contrasty, it looks really good. We can see a lot of good detail there. And the cutout of the grappling hook is also awesome. It's just very stark black and white, but you can really tell what it is. It's very clear. And these accent lines are also nice. I think similarly to what I said about Jay, I think this could benefit from a little bit of variation in the strokes. It's still all the same dashed lines, just kind of scaled up and scaled down. I think just putting in that extra time to get a little bit more variation here. I do see that these two are different than the rest, but just a little bit more variation so that it feels a little bit more natural and not copy and pasted. Awesome job in the cutout with this hippo. And again, you're maintaining a really great amount of detail in this rope. Really awesome. I do think that the color correction with this hippo versus this rope, the rope stands out a little bit too much. I think it's a little bit too crisp, so maybe adding a little bit more noise to that might help a little bit more color correction to that. I love the scale shift here, that this giant hippo is here on this house, and we really get to see up close, like this hippo is huge. Really like that. And great job cutting out all the assets here. It looks awesome. I really love the transition here. It looks awesome. I really love the fire that you put in here. I think one thing I wish is that we could see this fire behind some of these objects. So I see it's all kind of like in the foreground. And I think it would help sell the depth if it was behind, maybe peeking through the behind the ladder or something like that. And I also think these little pieces of fire, maybe there's a little too many duplicated. I think in here less would be more with the fire, would have more of an impact, and also maybe giving it a bit more texture because I think it stands out a little too much. Awesome job with this board. Looks really, really good. Color corrections on point. An awesome job here. Same with what I said about Jay's. I really love that you changed the texture in the background a little bit to show that bit of motion. Your motion paths here look awesome. The color correction here is really, really good. I think the rope fits in here with the purple and the color correction that you've done with the leaves. Awesome job, Nicole. I loved seeing your progress through the course. Keep going. Don't stop. And I'm excited to see what you do next. All right, last up we have Brian, and I just want to flip through his boards real quick. Again, a great amount of texture that Brian has here. One thing that I would say is, Brian, you seem to use the same texture, I think, in all of this beginning portion. It's the same texture. It's not moving. It's not changing. It's not changing with the scale at all. And then it finally changes, I think, when we get to this purple portion, the texture changes. No, it's actually the same texture. So yeah, that's one thing I would say that could really help this piece kind of show us even more so like the progression of board to board, that everything is changing, including the background texture. Maybe the texture could eventually be animated or something, but it would be good to show us that in the boards, not to have the same texture for every single board. Because then it just becomes kind of lost in the background, because we still want it to have a bit of presence. But awesome job on cutting out all of your assets. I noticed that your rope is extremely dark, but I think it works pretty well in most of these uses. But I think in like right here, it's kind of grayed out a little bit here, but when the rope is still dark over here. So I would just make sure that the color correction is just consistent from board to board, that we can tell like, oh, this is the same rope. I like the fire assets that you have here. I think it could utilize some scale shift, a little bit of contrast between fire element and fire element. Maybe having one that's kind of your main piece of fire, and then two that are kind of a different scale, so that we can see like one is the main one and these two are kind of like accents to that fire. I think that would help drive home this fire a little bit more. And you could do with sharpening up your masks on these leaves a little bit. I know it was tough to cut them out because they're such small shapes, but I think there's a little bit too much white around the edge of these, so it's a little bit distracting. I think you did a great job with these leaves that are in the hand. Those look really, really nice, but these are a little bit too feathered out, and it's a little bit too much white around the outline. And I think I saw the same thing with this leaf right here and this one down here. But these other ones, they look really, really good. Brian, really awesome job on this. Just a few tweaks that I would recommend, but overall, I mean, it's been awesome to see your progress through the course and see what you've been creating and been coming up with. Brian, awesome job. Can't wait to see what you're going to do next. All right, guys. Well, that's it for the last episode of the dojo. Again, it was a joy to be your TA and to see all the progress that you guys have done throughout this course. I am very excited to see what you guys end up doing next. Thanks for being along for the journey, and I'll catch you guys next time.